Welcome back to NC, Texas. Yeah, I know. We're just in our office. She's over at her desk. I'm at mine. The other background is just the office. We are going to be building a studio. We've got new software, a lot of new things happening. But I want to get this video out. Yes, I am wearing a Hawaiian shirt. By the way, introduce my wife. This is Mary Kay Kinman, my lovely sainted bride. And we're going to be doing this. I think I mentioned earlier video that we're going to do this Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But I think we're just going to pop on whenever something comes up that we want to talk about. We're coming on. Sometimes it may just be me. Sometimes it may just be her. But we'll see. We'll play it by ear. Um, how many of you saw the movie Black Hawk Down? Put down in the comment section what you remember about that movie, or maybe you've seen it recently. You know where that happened? Mary Kay, you want to tell them where that happened?
Oh, good old wonderful Somalia.
Yeah, wonderful country. Um, you ever think about going there on vacation?
I don't think so. But I've heard that it could be a great place that's right there on the coast. It could be having a lot of resorts there, but no, we like fighting instead.
Well, what happened to Somalia, or
Well,
why do we have so many
I
in
did a little
Minnesota?
bit of research today. And when you have a small country that's always in tribal feuds and clan-based warfare, you don't really have a country. This is the case for Somalia: tribal feuds and clan-based warfare. Neighboring nations like Ethiopia, Egypt, Libya, and others all tried to host a peace negotiations, but to no avail. It just fell out. They did eventually form what's called the Transitional Federal Government, or TFG, in August of 2004. And they did have a president, Abdullah Yusuf Ahmad, but yeah, it's kind of hard to pronounce. But that fell apart because some Somali clans did not trust that government. So they were not capable, just couldn't do it, just could not conform, a conforming, one cohesive, fair government for its people. They were just not able to do it. They fell into famine and war. Um, it's basically a Reader's Digest. So let's move forward to the 1990s. This is when our State Department started importing immigrants from Somalia. How nice of us Americans to be so kind
Absolutely,
and
we
give
didn't
them
have
a,
many Somalis here.
yeah. But, most people, when relocating, they like to be around their family and friends and familiarity. I understand that. That makes sense. But what part of Minnesota is anything like Somalia? So I guess Minnesota is mainly Scandinavian. I'm part Scandinavian, if you can't tell. My father is from northern Minnesota. I lived there for almost 15 years of my life, and I thank God every day that my parents decided to come back to Texas. But let's get back to how the Somalians got to Minnesota. And I've got links down in the comment sections for citing my sources, so you can look it up yourself. But let's talk about how they got there. There was resettlement agencies like the Lutheran Social Services, Catholic Charities, International Institute, World Relief that helped with all of this. It was just about a year ago, however, when Musk and Flynn tweeted on X the Lutheran faith as a money laundering operation. Jenkins, February 4, 2025. Elon Musk spotlights federal funds for Lutheran aid groups, calls them illegal payments. I think this needs further investigation. I wonder if these agencies were not just a start to this massive cover up and fraud scheme. Um, do you think the Catholic NGOs share some responsibility in this? I wonder how far reaching this fraud really is. See the link below again in the articles for Catholic NGOs share responsibility for Minnesota Somali fraud. Let's move on to Nick Shirley really quick and the daycare fraud. Nick and his friend David helped to uncover this daycare fraud. People have known about this fraud for years. Jim Nobles, who is a Minnesota legislator auditor, reported this in 2019. Okay,
So it's been
uh,
going on for a while.
yeah, you can
I
look
mean, I
up at
think
it.
I heard over time, yeah, from I think 2018, 2019, it was like $18 billion. And
Right,
he found like five or six daycares in one building
it's crazy.
with no kids in them.
No, no. Of course, you can look up that article at Johnson, January 2026, Learning from Minnesota's Somali Fraud Scandal. And again, that will be in the link at the bottom. And I believe there's a direct tie from these NGOs, religious organizations, to fraud, and now to the riots in the streets. They're all interconnected. The protests and riots are just all to distract from what this massive fraud is.
Hmm.
Waltz and the like are running frantic to muster up as much fighting and mayhem as they possibly can to take all the limelight off of them and basically to say, "Oh, look over here. Don't look at me." That's what's going on.
Yeah, they don't want it to die down. They want it to continue. Um, if you don't think Walls, Tampon Timmy, Keith Ellison, maybe even this guy Fry or Frey, however you pronounce his name, the mayor of Minneapolis, if you don't think they were involved, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona.
Yeah.
I'd
They
love
were
to sell
getting
it.
kickbacks, I bet.
But yeah, they were making money off of it.
Yeah.
And so now, what have we got? We've got in Minnesota, we got these riots going on. We've got cussing, screaming. A guy got his finger bit off. We have two people dead that have been shot that would have been better off being at home and not interfering. Let me ask you something. So we're dealing with, I think it was 10 times as many, ICE is dealing with 10 times as many illegal aliens as Minnesota in Texas.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? The difference is our law enforcement, our local law enforcement is working with ICE to handle this. We don't
Mhm.
have people out protesting. We don't have people out, cussing and screaming and blocking roads and putting themselves in danger.
Being
Taking,
ridiculous.
yeah, taking a pistol to a protest with an extra mag. That's something. Okay, when that happened, there's a whole nother story I'm not even going to get into right now. But um, Ilhan Omar in 2018, I think, when she first ran for office, basically didn't have any money. Now they're up to 30 million in just
Mhm.
a few years, and they can't tell you where it came from. Maybe some that fraud we were talking about. She's Somali. She married her brother to get him into the country. That's another thing. If you look up the average IQ in the United States, it's right at 100. The average IQ in Somalia, 67. These people inbreed. They're doing all kinds of. Look, I'm done. I mean, I've
Yeah.
had it. These people should not be here. Are there some good Somalis? I'm sure there are. You can get that with any race of people. But right now, they're causing so many problems.
Mhm.
But they're not the ones out protesting in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. Praise now. And by the way, they're importing a lot of protesters, don't you think?
They are. Yeah, they are. I saw on Tim Pool, he just did a segment on how they are all got on this app called Signal, and they can, you know, keep track of where they all are. They log in and log out, so they have shifts that they come into, and there's stations of food and water and things like that. That's not free. So if this
No.
was a protest that was really actually grassroots, then you wouldn't have all that stuff there. But no.
They're chasing people down. They're doxing everybody. They're
Hmm.
running plates. Okay, you got to be a cop to run plates to find out who owns this vehicle.
Yeah, I don't know how they're running the plates
Excuse
unless
me.
they have somebody in the Minnesota Police Department on the inside doing it, and that's
Stole
what
my
they've got
thunder.
doing.
Stole my thunder. That's exactly where I was headed. Because where are they? No, are the Minneapolis cops just cowards? They can't get out there and protect their people. Little tampon Timmy says that he
He
has to
says
get out there and
no.
protect his people. No, he told them stand down. Fry, Frey, whatever you want to call him, the mayor, they're not helping at all. All of this could be solved
Man.
if they did away with this sanctuary city bullshit,
Yep.
okay? And sanctuary state, of course everybody they're all going to go there. This is the thing: if they were really just immigrants that wanted a better life, that's one thing. We've had that forever since the day this country was created.
Hmm.
But you got to remember, down in Central America, Mexico. I don't know for sure about Mexico. I know we got a lot of cartel coming from Mexico, but some of them other countries, Venezuela, opened up their prisons and sent them up here. These are not good people. Donald Trump is right. These are not good people. They're not sending us their best and
No.
brightest, of high moral. No, no, these are some of the worst. So if ICE is rounding up some of the worst and just people that are just here illegally as well, then what are these protesters? Who are they trying to protect? Are they trying to protect the criminals? They want to keep them there. They say, "Oh, it's our neighbors." Do you want that neighbor?
They're pawns of a political party, is what those protesters are, and they're allowing themselves to be used, and they're not intelligent enough to be able to see through it.
Yeah, and there's blood. There's blood on Wallace's hands and this guy Fry. There's blood on their hands. Those
Hmm.
two people didn't have to get killed. That ICE agent didn't have to get his finger bit off. They were at a hotel protesting. I think it was last night.
ICE
Just
wasn't even there.
yeah, the police didn't do anything. There was a cop getting hit in the head with a brick. They've called him every name in the book. They've spit on him. They've blocked roads. They've rammed them with their cars. This is insane. If this was going on in more than just one city, one state, I'd say we're looking at civil war, but it's pretty isolated. And if you look at the polls, people are not agreeing with this crap, okay? Enough is enough. It's going to have to come to an end. And you heard this as well as I did today, that Wallace is crawling to Donald Trump because there's something going on in the background. I don't understand why Donald Trump hadn't done anything yet. I think there's some conversations going on where they're about to enact the insurrectionist act. Yeah, and Wallace doesn't want that.
No.
His ass may be going to jail.
There's a Minnesota state, he needs to go to jail. There's a Minnesota state legislator that was out there talking to a bunch of, I think, Somalis that was on Tim Pool, telling them what to do in a protest, telling them how to act and just kind of like enabling them, you know?
Offering to help. Give me a call. Offering to help.
Yeah. Yeah. Then he needs to go to jail. I forgot his name. I'll pull that up and let you know on that tomorrow who that guy is. Not very smart. Tim Walz better be on a no-fly list.
All right, so I think we wrap it up on that. This is our first real video for this channel. Um, but I wanted to end it with this. Like I said, who are they? Who are they trying to protect? Who are they rioting for? Well, let me read you some names that probably should have been rioted for because they're dead now because of these illegal aliens. Let's start with Santiago Lopez, 48. This young lady was shot. I say young, 48 is not old to me. Megan Boss, 37. Aiken Riley, 22. Elizabeth Medina, 16. Jocelyn Nungare, 12. She was raped and killed. She was raped by a couple of guys from Venezuela, as I recall. Maria Plates, 37, and her 11-year-old daughter were both killed by an illegal alien drunk driver. I can go on and on and on. I mean, there's just, it just goes on. And that's why Trump came in and said, we got to do something. Not going to sit here and speak for Trump. I'm not going to protect Donald Trump. But this is what he's doing. And I have to admit,
Hmm.
what say you? Yeah, they're paid protesters, no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
Yep. So,
Well,
and I want to say this. I don't know what President Trump is doing now, but it, it there's an old saying. It's a long old worm that turns, and
yeah.
it's going to turn back on these bad guys eventually.
So this is our first real video. Like I said, please subscribe, comment the comment section. Tell me what you think. Tell me, you want to give some names here? You know some people? Put it in the comment section. Subscribe, comment, give me a couple of thumbs ups. Share with your friends if you found any decent content here. And we'll be back. Say goodnight.
Thank you.
Thanks. See y'all later.